Let's take a look at order of operations with integers. So we have a negative value, positive value. I'm not sure about this one. It's a subtraction sign, so I need to do a little bit more digging here, and a negative value. So if I'm subtracting 6, that's the same as adding -6. But I don't want to get too caught up here because I know that there's another 6 here, so I'm hoping maybe those will cancel out. But I need to think of order of operations first. I need to look at parentheses as a grouping symbol. And none of these parentheses are grouping symbols. They're just visually pleasing to separate the operator from the sign and the operator from the sign. There's not actually an expression inside of there. So moving on from grouping symbols to exponents, no exponents. Now I can focus on multiplication and division from left to right as we read it. So my first division expression is here. I have 6 divided by -1. I'm still not sure. So now I do have to concern myself with what's the sign of this number, because I'm dividing it by -1. Essentially, it's just going to switch to its opposite. So I'm going to rewrite this whole expression with addition symbols and no subtraction. I have -4 plus -11 plus 6 plus -6 divided by -1. And now it's much easier to see that I have -6 divided by -1, which will just be +6. And unfortunately, I didn't have a pair of opposites here to add together to get a zero sum. So I have 6 plus 6, and then I have two negatives, -4 plus -11. I'm going to go ahead and add the numbers together that have the same sign, and luckily they're already next to each other. So -4 and -11 more makes -15, and then 6 and 6 more is 12. Now I have the sum of two integers with different signs, so I need to think about absolute value here. The absolute value of -15 is greater than the absolute value of 12, so my sum will have a negative sign. So then I just need the difference of their absolute values, because I know that -15 to the left of 0 will not cross over 0 because I'm only adding 12. So my value, my sum, will stay negative. What is that value? Well, from here to here is 15 and here to here is 12. I need to know their difference. So 15 minus 12 is 3. My final answer is -3. Let's do that same expression, except let's add in some exponents. So let's say we have -11 quantity squared, and then just -4 squared, and then keep everything else the same. -4 squared, the squared is only attached to the 4, not the negative here. Because really, remember, this is -1 times 4, and then the squared is only attached to the 4. Plus, in this case, we have parentheses around the negative sign and the 11. So that's combined. We're squaring that whole value, -11. So -11 times -11 plus 6. I'm going to go ahead and change that subtract to adding a negative again. It's a good practice, especially as you're getting more and more comfortable with signed numbers. And then instead of divided by -1 horizontally, I love fractions, so I'm going to write it like this. So it's more visual to me that those are a pair. They need to be evaluated before I do any addition and subtraction. Okay, so now I have this 4 squared still. So I have the opposite of 4 times 4 plus -11 times -11. I can go ahead and simplify that now because it's sandwiched between two addition signs. So this has to get simplified before I can add anything. And there's no exponents in this part of the expression yet, so I'm good. And so -11 times -11 is 121. Negative times a negative, opposite of a negative is positive. Plus 6 plus -6 divided by -1 is its own term because it's separated by addition. So I can go ahead and simplify that first. The opposite, or -1, goes into -6 6 times, positive 6 times. Okay, now I have this product here to evaluate. -1 times 4. The opposite of +4 is -4 times +4 plus 121 plus 6 plus 6. The product of -4 and +4 is -16 plus 12. Sorry, -16 plus 121 plus 6 plus 6. And now I have the sum of these three positive numbers. So 6 and 6 is 12, so I get 133. And then I'm going to write plus -16 to the right, so I can think of it more as 133 minus 16. And in this case, my answer is 117.